welcome back to today's video. In this one, we are back at it with some tips talking about how to make any piece of social media content more engaging, which if you're looking for a catchy headline, basically how to make your content go viral. But I don't really roll that way. So for today's video, I decided to travel down to High Park because in Toronto, it is cherry blossom season. And I thought I could film some videos, do a little bit of street photography maybe, and get some content made that could exemplify some of the things that I'm talking about in today's video for tips you need to do in your own content. Plus, who doesn't love cherry blossoms? And I will say that for today's video, it doesn't matter what niche you're in. These are tips that are relevant to pretty much any content creator or brand looking to make content that people actually want to watch. And before we get into things, I just want to be able to mention that I'm going to be shooting these videos going forward a little bit more podcast style, but not in the way of just like audio only, us talking. I'm going to be incorporating a lot of video examples into my content to make it more YouTube style, but still content like esque. I have a really interesting idea with these videos, so I hope you enjoy this new format. It will be labeled the Wondercast for now, and we'll see where that goes. That was the original branding for my podcast. I started literally a year ago, almost to the date. Pretty crazy how fast time goes. So if you want to be able to tune into the podcast, be sure to check out this channel. There's going to be a lot more to come and a lot more shorts to come as well. So that is why the first part of today's video is about how to grab someone's attention and what you need to do with your content in order to be able to do that. So tip number one, to get someone to watch your videos on social media, the beginning of your video or your video hook needs to go beyond just the words you say in the first part of your video, where you need to really level up what the beginning of your videos look like if you want to get someone's attention nowadays. Because back when TikTok first came out, you probably saw those videos that were like, here's 7 hooks that make your videos go viral, or here's like 20 things that you can say to stop someone's attention and make them watch your video. And now pretty much everybody is saying all of these things all of the time. So how exactly is it that we can set ourselves apart? So there are 3 primary ways you can get somebody to watch your videos on social media. The first of which is with visual techniques or pattern interrupts. Visual techniques are things like a transition or a flash of light that can be used as a transition that just separates itself from what the regular exposure levels are on the feed, which in turn would catch somebody's attention. A pattern interrupt is kind of similar. It basically just breaks up the monotony of what it is that you're scrolling with and then catches somebody's attention because it's anti to what a repetitive movement is on someone's feed. Just like what I do with a lot of my videos, I incorporate those flashes of light and light leak transitions in order to grab someone's attention and then keep someone's attention for longer. The only problem is that these are being used a lot lately. You'll probably see it on a ton of your social media reels. And so the more often that these transitions are actually used, the less effective they will be, because a pattern interrupt is something that's done sparingly. It's against what everybody's already doing. So if everybody's using flashing lights, then it's not a pattern interrupt anymore. So you have to find other ways and gaps in what content looks like in order to catch attention. The second way you can engage somebody to watch your videos is by asking questions. This way, if you ask a question at the beginning, for example, are you looking for the best cherry blossom photo locations in Toronto this year? Then here are 3 locations that you need to visit. If you ask a question like that, it directly reaches the audience that you're looking to seek, aka people who want to see cherry blossoms in Toronto. High Park, Trinity Bellwoods, and in front of Robarts Library, by the way, if you're wondering. And on top of that, with social media algorithms, when you state the question in the beginning, algorithms will in turn seek that audience that is most likely wanting answers to those questions. And so you'll have a higher rate of people that will end up watching your video because you're telling the algorithm who exactly it is that you're looking for. Finally, you can create projections. Asking if-then statements, being extremely relatable with how you tell viewers what your video is about. And of course, you can use your followers as questions to highlight what your video is about. For example, you might wonder what camera I'm shooting this video on. And then I can start a reel with that question instead of needing to hook you in differently and show that there's a bit more of a two-way relationship between what content I post online and who exactly it is that's watching it. Bringing us to the next part of this video, which is once you figure out how to get someone's attention, the trick is how are you going to keep someone's attention? Well, this is all done in how much value your content actually has to watch. And a lot of the times my rule is that the more overproduced someone's content is, the less valuable it in fact is. Because if you need to put all these flashy bells and whistles on top of video footage that can really help somebody out, then it's probably not helping that person enough, right? It's just intuitive that way, if you think about it. And so the rule is that the higher the value of your content, the more likely that someone will be to stick around. For example, a content format right now that is extremely valuable in photo and filmmaking is these videos that are almost like these cinematic vlogs where content creators will incorporate what shot they're actually using in a specific moment to help teach others what they need to look for. You're basically showing somebody how they can film incredible content, which is something that I did with this High Park video, basically just showing wides, mediums, tights, maybe foreground blur, or different ways that you can just get creative compositions. Instead of just the video itself, there's now an extra layer added to it where when someone watches this video, they'll potentially leave a better content creator as a result. And so this is why education content is so popular on social media, because it really sets you a layer above your competition or whoever it is that's in your niche that you're competing for phone scrolling real estate with, because it's inherently going to be more valuable than just a piece of content that entertains in isolation, which this definitely deserves a separate video. Entertainment content, when done well, is more powerful than education content. It's just a lot more of a gamble that your entertainment content is going to be able to beat a lot more of the education content that you're going to see on social media. And so the third tip I have for you then is on keeping your audience around after they've watched one video. You obviously want to create an engaged online community if you're posting on social media. And so just posting one viral video isn't enough. And where I see a lot of creators go wrong is finding a content format that works for them, going viral off the bat, and then posting it again and again and again and again. And that's not how you build community on the platforms. Although it is a strategy for one specific KPI, which is maybe you have a limited series and you're trying to sell some sort of product, it's not the way that you build a strong network of followers. And so the real question is, how do you turn one viewer into a follower? Well, the answer is not probably what you're thinking, because my advice is it comes down to your calls to action. And where in 2014 to 2017 social media, it was all about, follow my page for more videos, or comment, like, subscribe, and you'll get to see more. We need to be a lot more subtle now in how we ask a viewer to actually engage with our content beyond just watching the content. And so there are more creative ways that are indirect and really encourage our audience to engage with our content. The best way to do that is by creating a series of videos. For example, a series about filming your life cinematically, or providing tips and tricks about life just on your feed every day. For my example here, I could do a series of quote videos that are made with cinematic clips of my life every day that inspire you to be more creative in your life and maybe take a lot more risks. A series then is also great because it provides a CTA for people to come back to your feed. You've indirectly hinted that you have a series that is reoccurring and gives someone a reason to follow you and subscribe if they like the first initial video that they've seen, because that's inherently what a series is. There is more to come. And so you don't have to ask somebody to follow your account. They just will because they like what you're doing. And inevitably, that's what a high value piece of content does. A high value piece of content sells without selling. And that is the primary principle of a social media presence, both for a content creator and a brand. And there are a ton of different ways that you can leverage this to build better videos and linkages to keep your community engaged. For example, maybe you film podcasts online, cut those up into shorts, put them onto Instagram, and now you have a two-way interaction between where your podcasts are being hosted, like on Spotify or a website, and Instagram, where the two could lead to having growth in either platform's direction. And so once you have these tips down, you can then move on to tricks. And the best way to juice your content to get more views on social media is with trending audio. Not really a surprise, but Instagram, if you are lucky enough to have a large enough following and engagement rate, will actually set up private coaching calls with you now and tell you information about what works on the platforms. And I've had the opportunity to have one, as well as have had, well, that's a tongue twister, The opportunity to follow a ton of different creators who have had those calls, saved their posts. And the number one thing that I've seen recur that Instagram's told people is that trending audios actually do boost the reach of your videos if you use them correctly. And obviously the best practices with that, finding those trending audios under 10,000 listens that have a lot of legs in a niche that's popular, for example, in the travel or cooking space, are going to be your best bets to use with your content. And so a very popular way to use trending audios is by doing a POV format or read caption Q&A style video. These typically boost engagement because if you ask a question in your video, people will comment and then they'll in turn have broader circulation with that trending audio backbone. So you get the benefit of people listening to the trending audio, engaging with your post, and then if you shoot it well, for example, in travel, a lot more beautiful clips of like cliffside, sunsets, whatever, with these question prompts and things to just spur engagement, you will likely have a viral video on your hands if you do it correctly. I said I wouldn't say viral, but here we are. You just can't get away from it, can you? I don't know. I feel like saying viral is just a little bit taboo a lot of the times because like it's not viral anymore. It's just kind of like what the platforms do. If I'm being honest, I also have my notes in front of me here. But it's just kind of what the platforms do. Like whenever it's like, oh, my TikTok went viral. I'm like, no, TikTok just gives you more views. You know, it's not viral anymore. It's like, it's so algorithmically targeted. But regardless, that's what we're shooting for with the videos. We want that to happen. So viral or not, that's the idea. And so when we're looking for those viral videos, we obviously want to design our content for that. And we can set up a separate video about content formats that enable that sort of virality and what that looks like, and really how to get those content formats to walk with those social media trends, whether they're, you know, audio based or they're things you do in the video based, like couple challenges or whatever. That if that's something you want to see, definitely comment down below. And so the final tip then that I have for you today is in creating a strong pre-production process, because I can guarantee you if you're winging your social media presence on the fly, your content's just not going to be up to par with really where it needs to be nowadays. Like, you know, you used to be able to get away with like ideating on the spot and perhaps something would just pop off, but now you really got to be meticulous with how you do a lot of things, because how's that saying go? Like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. It really matters now, which is unfortunate because social media should be a fun place. And I think a lot of the times when there's this level of work, it does become a job. And generally my advice to people is that social media is definitely a full-time job. You're basically your own marketing department at this point. And so my 3 essential steps in designing high view social media content is to first become content aware. You need to consume a ton of content in your niche to actually understand what your videos and photos need to look like in order to compete in the space. You need to understand trends and then figure out your own unique way to do them better and differently. That's the only way you're really going to be able to grow. And if you can't fulfill that need, your content just won't be able to do well. Second is to script and ideate your shot lists. The quickest way to fail is just showing up where you're gonna film your videos and just make it up as you go. I can guarantee you the quality of your videos will dramatically increase if you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Plan out your sets, what you want your rooms to look like, where are you gonna go? Have you been to the environment before? Do you know how you're gonna shoot? What time of day are you going? Who are you going with? These are all very important to understand if the video idea you have in your head is actually going to end up working out. And so my final tip then is to create your content management system. You need to have a calendar that has all of your video ideas already included into it, where you can have all of your scripts and all of your needs for your content, and it will dramatically help you. I use Notion for mine, and it's been an absolute integral piece of my entire content management workflow. If it wasn't for Notion, I wouldn't be able to put out as much content as I have. So I highly recommend you find something, whether it's ClickUp or whatever works for you, use it. It will be literally like your saving grace. And so I hope you enjoyed today's video. These are my 5 quick tips. I'm going to be building out these videos to be a lot more complicated into the future. I wanted to get this one back in action to, you know, get things going again. I've been missing YouTube, been missing filming, coming up with ideas, being back on that content creation system, and I've had a lot more motivation lately. So hopefully that's something I talk about in my next video. We can sit down, have a chat, talk about motivation, content creation, ideation, all those words, and figure out the plan for the future. So hope this video was useful to you. If it was, be sure to comment down below. And of course, I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.